Hi, I'm Simon Williams, a personal trainer and coach looking to help you become the strongest, healthiest version of yourself that you can be. Today, we're going to talk about fat loss, and I'm going to give you some top tips to help you achieve this. So my first tip is going to be all about a HIIT workout, high intensity training. So you'll need to do this 2, maybe 3 times a week, no more than that. The idea of this is that you are working at maximal level to really give your body a shock. And you need to make sure that you obviously have recovery in between. So I wouldn't recommend doing this day after day. Think about doing something whereby your heart rate is elevated. You are literally finding it difficult to breathe. You are pouring with sweat. So you can do this with bodyweight exercise. You can do this with a run, with a row, with a swim, any sort of multiple ways of doing it. But the idea is, and it's short and sharp and furious. So you don't really want to be going much longer than 30 minutes with a HIIT intensity training. You want to keep it that you're probably around 20 minutes as a maximal. When's the best time to do HIIT training? It really boils down to what works best for you. If you imagine that you are going to have to give maximal effort, then that's kind of like the most important thing in the training. So if you're not someone that gets up easily in the morning, then doing it first thing might not be the best time to do it for you. You might find it better to do it at a lunchtime or even an evening session. But if you are someone that wakes up and you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, then it's great if you can smash it out before breakfast, because you're just going to get yourself and your metabolic rate fired up right at the beginning of the day. Okay, another really important aspect for fat loss is doing some strength resistance work. So what you need to think about here is lifting up something heavy. Now, you don't have to do a bodybuilder's workout, but what you do need is to be in a position whereby you are fatiguing your muscles out, that it's a struggle for them to go much beyond double figures in repetitions, i.e. 10, 12, 14. You want to get to that sort of 8 to 10 rep range as being the maximum that you could do it at. What would be good exercises? I would really recommend total body, where you are asking the big muscle groups to do a lot of work. So squats are incredible. You're asking your core and your back and your shoulders to actually support the weight, and then the legs have obviously got to do the work of lifting that weight up and down. Deadlifts is another great exercise, because obviously the legs are having to pull the weight back up, but also you need to use your arms and your upper body to support and hold onto that bar. Also, think of like bench press, think of pull-ups, think of the sort of like big muscle groups getting a big workout. The great thing about a strength workout is, because you're using the muscles, you're going to be firing them up, and they will be asking for calories much longer after the workout. So you are more likely to burn fat because you're using your muscles in this way. A top tip is to sometimes look at the sort of like body type that's out there in the world that you actually want to sort of achieve. If you look at like a rugby player or a footballer or a sprinter or a strongman or a marathon runner, there's multiple different sport disciplines out there, and obviously you'll see a common theme of how their body looks. This can give you a really good insight into terms of how your training should look. All you need to do is have a look and see what it is that a sprinter does for a workout. Chances are they will be doing a lot of short, sharp runs, 100 meters, 200 meters, all out. That'll be their HIIT. But then also they'll be doing things to really strengthen their muscles to make sure that they've got the power to get through. So there will be chest press, there will be squats. Okay, so why strength training? Really simply, muscles need to be used to get the best possible look to a physique. As far as I'm concerned, if you look at someone like a sprinter or a swimmer, they will have a low level of body fat, and you will also see a good muscle definition. And they will have the beautiful combination of high intensity training and strength training to be able to get them to perform the best possible way. To be fair, most people have said, whenever in my 15 years of working with clients, most of them aspire to achieve that kind of sprinter or swimmer physique. So it only makes sense to look at what it is that they do to see if it can work for you. That's true. Last night I was at the MKFM networking thing, and this bloke just would not believe I was 43. I am. I must be like 30 something. Strength training. Okay, other benefits, strength training is you're going to raise your basal metabolic rate. Now, what does that mean for you? That basically means that when you are lifting the weights, you're going to be burning calories at that point. But because the muscles have been used and they're warmed up, when you leave the gym, they're going to continue burning calories. And that's a great feeling to know that your workout is actually going to continue to be effective after you've left the gym. Other things like your functional fitness. There's nothing better than being able to pick up your child, walk up the stairs, and just feel strong and capable of doing it. And the other thing is, you will actually probably reverse the aging process by doing this. Basically, once you hit 30 years old, you have hit the peak of your muscle growth. You actually start then going into decline. It's true. As you get older and older, your muscles start to degenerate, and you need to do the work to get them to be the best they can possibly be. So if you are doing strength training, you will actually be reversing your aging process because your muscles will be kept in top tip condition. Sleep. Sleep is so important. Why? Because it's the important part of the jigsaw puzzle of the recovery process. You've done the hard work of the high intensity and the strength training. Now your body needs to have recovery, and it does that recovery best when you're asleep. It releases the hormones that helps the muscles be repaired. So make sure that that is something that you're making a critical part of your routine. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is tell you my routine for going to bed, and that might give you some indications of things that you could incorporate in your routine. So I like to make sure that all kind of like laptops and TVs are closed off about an hour before I'm going to bed. I'll spend time writing in my positivity journal and reading a book. At the same time, I'll probably have something like a hot drink, but I go more for the herbal tea, so chamomile or turmeric is a personal favourite of mine. Then when I make my way upstairs, the room is nice and cool. I kind of find that personally, I find a cool room will help me sleep better. Now, I like my bedroom to be pitch black. That's right. Why are you smiling now? Okay, let's talk about the bedroom and how we can make it in the best possible state for us to get sleep. One, you need it to be as dark as possible. So it's a really good idea to have some sort of like blackout blinds, or just make sure that there's not lots of lights going on. The idea is basically that we are designed, all our sleep hormones get released when it's as dark as possible. We were designed to get up with the sun and go down with the sun. And if we have a lot of lights when we're going to bed, we're kind of holding those hormones back to give us good sleep. Also, think about the temperature. The reality is we weren't really supposed to stay in central heated houses. We're animals after all. So it makes sense to get it slightly cooler, because again, that will be telling our bodies to release the hormones that it's time to go to sleep and get some rest. It is really important to move daily, and I like to basically encourage people to do a very conscious, low steady state movement every single day. Now, the government sort of recommends that we complete 10,000 steps a day, so I kind of think that should be the bare minimum that we should kind of hit. And if you go for a 25-minute walk in the morning, and a 20-minute at lunchtime, and a half-hour walk in the evening, you'll easily complete that sort of those sort of steps. But think also about going for a gentle swim or a nice bike ride. Just think of like what you could do in your daily activities where you could just keep constant movement going on. Even if you're just like in the office and on the phone, rather than sitting in your chair and speaking to the person on the phone, get up and wander around the office. If you have the ability to walk down the corridor and up and down steps while having that conversation, all the better. Okay, it makes sense that if we're going to be talking about fat loss, there's something we need to talk about. It's what goes in your mouth, what you eat. And I am a big believer that if you can kind of go for a higher protein, more diet, that will help massively in regards to you getting the results that you're looking to go for. So why protein? Well, protein is one of the macronutrients which is harder for the body to digest. So you're more satisfied when you actually eat it. And also that's predominantly what your muscles are made up out of. So if you are doing high intensity workouts and doing strength training, your muscles are going to require proteins to help their recovery and their rebuilding. I'm not saying cancel out anything else. I do believe in carbohydrates. I do believe in the fats also being included into the diet as well. But make sure that protein is kind of like the higher proportion on your plate. Also think about foods, something that's higher in fibre. Again, they will just keep you more satiated throughout the day, so you're not feeling the need to snack and eat those biscuits while you're having a cup of tea. Okay, in order for us to get fat loss, we need to be in a calorie deficit. I'm assuming most people know that calories are part of foods, and basically it's their energy. So we need to understand the numbers that's going to work for us to be in a state whereby we're in a deficit and we get fat loss. So if I'm working with people in a generic group, I tend to go with females need to be in around 1500 calories and men need to be around 2000. Basically, men are bigger, stronger, we have more mass, therefore we need more calories. It's just basic. And then it's basically monitoring how things are working for you. So if 2-3 weeks down the line you've been eating the calories of 2000 or 1500 every day and you've not lost any weight, then you need to drop it, but not dramatically. Look at maybe 100 or 200 calories just to bring it down, and you'll probably find that that will start to get the results that you want. So chances are most people have come up with some sort of compulsive behaviour to the fact that they've ended up becoming overweight. So then if you try and replace that with another compulsive behaviour, i.e. looking at a phone for the stats of your calories all the time and looking at the scales at the numbers all the time, that's not necessarily good. So I always tend to go into feeling, in terms of specifically, how do you feel? Do you feel tired? Sleep more. Or maybe eat a little bit more. So the idea is that you have a journal whereby you're keeping multiple things in there in terms of like just literally, this is how I've moved today, this is what I've eaten today, and this is how I feel today. And if you keep that sort of like for a month, it's amazing whereby when you see how you feel, I felt great, and you just look what you've done 2-3 days before, chances are you've done something relatively fast, relatively heavy, and relatively steady state, but not like fast 3 days or heavy 3 days. And you'll just like, yeah, if there's been donuts and stuff like that, then again, there's always an outcome to whatever it is that you do. And if you eat high sugary, fatty foods, the outcome tends to be slow, sluggish, lethargic, and what have you. Whereas you eat broccoli, carrots, fresh fish, fresh food, fish, white meat, stuff like that, then you feel more alive, you feel better. And once you see the evidence that you've created yourself looking right back at you, it's like, damn, I've just written my blueprint. I'm Simon Williams, personal trainer and coach, helping you to become a happier, healthier, stronger man. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.